Two of the biggest sports stars in the world, yourself and Caitlin Clark. Describe this atmosphere.
It's crazy. I mean, that first tee was something out of a book almost. But it's so fun. It's cool to see how many people she brings together to another sport, and it's fun to hang out with her. She's super cool. You know, we saw each other actually last week at an outing, yeah, I mean, it's nice to be alongside greats. I mean, even her teammates are super fun, so it's been a blast so far.
The WNBA should be absolutely ashamed of itself, because in one single day, the sport of golf just exposed their biggest, most embarrassing failure. Caitlin Clark, the woman single-handedly reviving their league, stepped onto a golf course and received more respect, admiration, and genuine warmth from complete strangers than she got all season from her own colleagues. What happened at this one tournament wasn't just a nice story. It was a damning indictment of the WNBA's toxic culture.
And the LPGA Tour is so smart in doing this because they pair up Caitlin Clark with Nelly Korda, who was the #1 player in the world until this summer. She suffered an injury. And Lauren Wynn, who is also playing on a sponsor's exemption, just turned pro. She was a 2-time All-American at Northwestern. So not only are people going to see Caitlin Clark and get to enjoy that and all the buzz around it, but they're also going to see the product itself, which are these professional female golfers like Nelly Korda, like the future of the game in Lauren Wynn. So it's a really smart way to tie it all together. Caitlin Clark brought a couple of her teammates, Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham, to be her honorary caddies. Golf is fully leaning into bringing these celebs in, and it's awesome for where.
It started with Nelly Korda, one of the best golfers on the entire planet. Instead of giving a cold shoulder or complaining about the attention, she went out of her way to welcome Caitlin. She messaged her on Instagram beforehand. She spent real time with her. She treated her like an equal, a colleague. This is the basic level of professional respect that WNBA veterans should have shown, but refused to. Korda actually said it was amazing to see Caitlin's influence firsthand. She recognized greatness, while the WNBA saw a threat.
Bad. I occasionally play pig, and I lose every single time. It takes me a long time to really get warmed up. But actually, Kayla and I were messaging. She's like, this is unfair. Like, I need to take you to the basketball court. Like, why are we always on a golf course? So maybe one day, but it's pretty bad. I would definitely like to use some pointers. I don't know if it's like the shot. I think it'll be more of like the movement for me.
Nelly, like any youngster, right to Instagram. This is her Instagram story. Go Indiana Fever. Lexi, Sophie, and Caitlin. What a photo. A lot of star power in Bel Air outside of Tampa at the Annika.
Then an absolute legend, Annika Sorenstam, the woman who organized the entire event, stepped in. She didn't just give a polite hello. She publicly and personally thanked Caitlin for showing up, acknowledging what she has done for all of women's sports. She called her an inspiration. Think about that. A legend of one sport celebrating a rookie from another, because she understands a fundamental truth the WNBA apparently can't grasp. When someone elevates the game, you celebrate them. You don't try to tear them down out of petty jealousy.
I actually kind of figured it out when we played last week.
Yeah? And then what happened?
Well, I haven't played since I was there that day.
Oh, really?
The institutional response was just as telling. The Golf Channel didn't just cover Caitlin's appearance. They completely upended their broadcast schedule, moving it 90 minutes earlier just to show her play. They saw the opportunity, the eyeballs, the money, the growth. They understood that Caitlin's presence was a gift, an asset to be leveraged. The WNBA was handed this exact same gift on a silver platter for an entire season and treated it like a problem to be managed, constantly trying to balance her fame instead of pouring gasoline on the fire.
There was like 4 inches on the ground in Indianapolis.
That's so nice.
I've been chilling. I've been actually doing this thing called basketball that takes up a lot of my time.
Spend time in the gym, is that what happened on the first 2 holes? That's why you hit your putts?
But the final, undeniable proof came from the single greatest athlete of our generation, Tiger freaking Woods. He didn't just notice Caitlin, he was genuinely in awe of her. He talked about her impact, her talent, and her ability to generate excitement. He even said he brought a basketball hoping Caitlin would sign it for his daughters. Let that sink in. Tiger Woods, a global icon, wanted her asterisk autograph. He praised her swing and saw her potential. When the GOAT of one sport is fawning over you, it proves your star power is on another level, a level the WNBA has actively tried to suppress.
It's been fun.
Good. And how awesome is it, too, to be able to play with Nelly and kind of take some tips and tidbits from her, because obviously she's incredible, unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a few rounds with her now, so it's always fun getting to be out here and like getting to see what.
This all comes down to a simple difference in mindset. The LPGA and the golf community operate from a place of abundance. They understand that a rising tide lifts all boats. Caitlin's presence brought more viewers, more media, and more attention to everyone. They knew new fans who came for Caitlin might discover Nelly Korda or Maria Fassi. That's how you grow a sport. The WNBA, in stark contrast, operates from a scarcity mindset. Acting like success is a zero-sum game where Caitlin's fame somehow diminishes everyone else. It's a pathetic and self-defeating way to run a league. And of course, some people tried to manufacture outrage, circulating a heavily edited, likely fake video of coach Gino Orima supposedly disrespecting Caitlin. But this pathetic attempt at drama only highlights the truth. No legitimate professional golfer had a single negative thing to say. The only controversy came from outsiders desperate to create conflict where there was none, which has been the story of Caitlin's entire WNBA season. What makes this whole situation even more frustrating is that Caitlin has never once asked for special treatment. She just shows up, works hard, and plays basketball. Her humility in the face of constant scrutiny and jealousy is remarkable. The golf world saw that humility and rewarded it with genuine respect. The WNBA saw it and allowed its players and certain media members to punish her for it, constantly questioning if she even deserved the attention her record-breaking talent naturally attracts. This isn't complicated. The LPGA just gave the WNBA a masterclass in how to treat a generational superstar. They celebrated her, promoted her, and welcomed her. They understood her value from the second she stepped on the grass. The WNBA, after an entire season, still doesn't get it. They've allowed internal politics and jealousy to squander the greatest opportunity in their history. The blueprint is right there. They have no more excuses. The blueprint isn't just there. It's tattooed on the face of modern sports marketing, and the WNBA is refusing to even look in the mirror. You have to understand, this isn't just about a few jealous players. This is a deep-seated institutional sickness. It's a poverty mentality that has become so ingrained in the league's DNA that when true generational wealth, in the form of attention, ratings, and relevance, finally arrived on their doorstep, they treated it like an invading army. For decades, the WNBA has fought for scraps, begged for a sliver of the spotlight, and lamented being ignored. That struggle forged a certain identity, a chip-on-the-shoulder attitude that was necessary for survival. But the problem is, they never learned how to put the chip down. When the feast they always dreamed of was finally served, they couldn't see the banquet. All they saw was one person getting a bigger plate, and their immediate, tragic instinct was to try and knock that plate out of her hands, not realizing that her plate was the reason the entire banquet was being thrown in the first place. The LPGA, a league that has also fought for its own recognition, evolved past that. They learned that showcasing a superstar doesn't diminish the field. It elevates the entire stage they all play on. The WNBA is still stuck in survival mode, unable to recognize that the war for attention is finally over. They've won. And the person who led them to victory is the one they're now trying to court-martial. This cultural rot is then amplified and weaponized by a media ecosystem that profits from division. Look at the coverage. The Golf Channel and its affiliates presented Caitlin Clark's appearance as a celebration. The narrative was simple. Isn't this cool? A basketball superstar is here, showing respect for our sport, and our stars are showing it right back. Welcome. The questions were about collaboration, mutual respect, and the growth of women's sports. Now contrast that with the daily WNBA discourse on major sports networks. Every single segment is framed as a conflict. Are the veterans right to be jealous? Is Caitlin Clark being targeted unfairly? Does her fame overshadow the league's other stars? They relentlessly push a narrative of resentment, often injecting race and identity politics into it, because harmony doesn't generate clicks, but outrage does. Pundits who couldn't name 5 WNBA players a year ago are now acting as armchair psychologists, diagnosing the league's supposed resentment towards a white superstar, conveniently ignoring the fact that players like Diana Taurasi have been notoriously hard on all asterisk rookies for years. The media is not just reporting on the toxicity, it's actively manufacturing more of it, pouring salt in the wounds because it drives engagement. The golf world gave them nothing to work with, just mutual admiration, so the story died. The WNBA, however, provides a daily buffet of controversy, and the talking heads are gorging themselves on it at the league's expense. And let's be painfully specific about the on-court reality this culture creates, because it's the most visible symptom of the disease. Nelly Korda, a direct competitor in an individual sport where mentality is everything, went out of her way to build a bridge with Caitlin Clark before she even arrived. Now, picture the welcome Caitlin got from Chennedy Carter, a blindside, off-ball, full-body hip check that sent her flying to the floor. It wasn't a hard basketball play, it was a cowardly assault intended to send a message. But what was the message? It wasn't welcome to the league. It was we resent your presence. The foul itself was bad enough, but the aftermath was the true indictment. Carter's coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, initially refused to comment on it. Her teammates, including Angel Reese, who was seen celebrating the foul from the bench, gave Carter a high five. There was no accountability, no sportsmanship, just a smug satisfaction in a cheap shot. This wasn't an isolated incident. It was the culmination of weeks of overly aggressive, targeted physicality that goes far beyond typical rookie hazing. It's one thing to play a rookie tough. It's another thing entirely to try and injure them out of spite. The golf world offered a handshake and a smile. The WNBA offered a shoulder to the spine and a smirk from the bench. One is the behavior of a confident, growing enterprise. The other is the behavior of a bitter, insecure clique. This all flows from the top down. The failure of leadership within the WNBA is simply staggering. Annika Sorenstam, a titan of her sport, acted as the ultimate ambassador. She didn't just invite Caitlin. She centered her, celebrated her, and used her platform to amplify Caitlin's positive impact on all women's sports. She was a proactive leader who understood the moment and seized it for the betterment of everyone involved. Now, where has WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert been? Mostly silent, and when she does speak, it's with the kind of vague, corporate speak that says absolutely nothing. She's been reactive, not proactive. Instead of getting in front of the narrative and championing her league's new superstar, she's allowed the inmates to run the asylum. She's issued weak statements about physicality and competition, while failing to unequivocally condemn the unsportsmanlike conduct that is actively tarnishing her league's brand. There has been no strong, public defense of the player who is single-handedly funding league expansion, charter flights, and a massive surge in interest. Annika Sorenstam built a stage for a star. Cathy Engelbert is watching her players try to saw the legs off the stage her star is standing on, and she's seemingly more concerned about getting a splinter than she is about the whole thing collapsing. It's a complete dereliction of duty. Ultimately, you have to follow the money to understand the jealousy. The LPGA and its players understand that Caitlin's presence at their event is a financial windfall for everyone. The increased ticket sales, the massive media ratings, the new sponsorships, that revenue flows into the tour, increasing purses and endorsement opportunities for all the players. They see Caitlin and see a bigger pie. Many WNBA players, however, seem to look at Caitlin and see a piece of pie they believe should be theirs. They see her 8-figure Nike deal, her Gatorade and State Farm commercials, and it magnifies their own financial frustrations. The anger is valid. WNBA players are criminally underpaid compared to their male counterparts, but they are directing it at the absolute wrong target. They are attacking the symptom, not the disease. Instead of being furious with a league structure and a collective bargaining agreement that has suppressed their wages for decades, they take it out on the 22-year-old who broke through the ceiling. It's a fundamentally flawed, crabs-in-a-bucket mentality. They're trying to pull her down to their level instead of using her leverage to demand that the entire bucket be lifted. Tiger Woods and Nelly Korda see Caitlin Clark as a walking economic stimulus package for women's sports. The WNBA sees her as a threat to their slice of a pie that was pitifully small to begin with. What we witnessed on that golf course was the difference between an open hand and a closed fist. The LPGA extended an open hand, inviting in a new audience, a new energy, and a new partner in the mission of elevating women's athletics. They understand that modern sports is as much about entertainment and narrative as it is about competition. By welcoming Caitlin, they created a powerful, positive story that made their entire sport look confident, classy, and smart. The WNBA, meanwhile, continues to operate with a closed fist, guarding its territory from an imagined enemy. They're acting like gatekeepers to a club that, frankly, not enough people wanted to join until Caitlin Clark showed up with a key to the city. This gatekeeping is disguised as respecting the vets or paying your dues, but it's really just fear. Fear that a rookie is more popular than a 10-year veteran. Fear that the old guard is becoming irrelevant. Fear that the game they dedicated their lives to is changing without their permission. The irony is that by trying so desperately to guard the gates, they're trapping themselves inside a burning building. The golf world threw the gates open and let the fresh air in, and the entire landscape feels healthier and more vibrant because of it. The long-term damage of this self-sabotage is terrifyingly real and will be felt for years to come. Every cheap shot, every jealous comment, every media-driven controversy chips away at the goodwill the Caitlin Clark effect generated. Think about the new fan, the casual observer who tuned in for the first time. They came to see a phenom, someone they'd heard about on the news, someone who was breaking records and bringing unprecedented excitement. What did they find? A league that seemed to resent its own biggest star. They saw a product where the story wasn't the incredible basketball being played, but the off-court drama and on-court hostility. How many of those potential lifelong fans have already tuned out, disgusted by the bitterness? How many corporate sponsors are now looking at the WNBA's toxic internal culture and comparing it to the wholesome, celebratory image projected by the LPGA and thinking, why would we invest our marketing dollars there? This was the WNBA's golden goose moment, a once-in-a-generation opportunity to convert millions of curious onlookers into a dedicated fan base. Instead, they've allowed a culture of petty grievance to dominate the narrative, effectively telling those new fans, "We don't want you here unless you appreciate us in the exact way we demand to be appreciated." It's an act of commercial suicide, broadcast live for the entire world to see. So when Caitlin Clark smiled on that fairway, sharing a laugh with a golf legend and getting tips from Tiger Woods, it was more than just a nice photo op. It was a glimpse into an alternate reality. It was a vision of what her professional life should look like. One of celebration, mutual respect, and a shared understanding that her unprecedented stardom is a gift to be embraced, not a problem to be solved. The world of golf didn't just give her a warm welcome. They held up a giant, high-definition mirror to the WNBA, and the reflection is ugly, distorted, and deeply sad. It reflects a league so caught up in its own insecurities that it is actively strangling its greatest asset. The path forward is clear. The masterclass has been given. The question is no longer whether the WNBA has an excuse. The only question left is whether they have the courage and intelligence to change before they squander this miracle completely.